Alright, we got our feet done. Now it's time to move on to our beak. So same hook, same yarn. Beak's very fast. You're just going to put your slip knot. Keep the tail long enough so that you can double knot it onto your egg. Then you're going to chain 4. Do it nice and tight again. And now we're going to form the beak by first doing a single crochet. So we're going to skip that first chain and work a single crochet into the second one. Just a normal single crochet. Then we're going to make the pointy part of the beak by doing a double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to put the beak back down with a single crochet in the last stitch. Then I want to make it kind of even more 3D, so I'm going to join the beak. So it kind of looks like a muddled mess. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to count backwards, 1, 2, 3, and then to my chain that I skipped. And I'm going to put move the tail out of the way so you can see better. I'm going to put my hook through that chain. And then I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to slip stitch, so that I can bring my beak together. So it kind of looks like a little funny bump almost. Then I'm going to fasten that off by doing a chain and pulling it long. Pull it nice and tight and cut. Pull my working yarn out. Okay. And then when I knot this onto my egg, I'm going to have this nice little pointy 3D beak. So it's time to start on our egg now, so let me go grab my other yarn and hook and we'll get started. Okay, I'm going to start my pip egg, and I have my yarn. This yarn's a fun ombre yarn, and the way you can tell ombre yarn is that the color changes are very short. So you can see only this little length is purple and then it changes to green. So if you want like a self-striping egg, go for much longer color changes. But for more of a mottled tie-dye look, get the short color changing yarn. And what you can do is look at the end of your yarn, and when you see this many colors, this wound together, like each strand has a new color, you'll know you have ombre. If you see like a big chunk of purple and then a big chunk of green, then you know it's self-striping. So, I don't know why I made a slip knot, because we're making a magic adjustable loop. We're going to do 8 single crochets into our magic adjustable loop, and what I like to do is I grab my yarn with my tail pointing to the left and on the bottom, and then I use my hand and I just turn my yarn straight down, and then I have this little crossover. So I pinch that, and I have my loop, so I'm going to reach through the loop with my hook. Still got the 4mm, and I'm going to grab my working yarn and bring that through the loop. What I like to do so that I don't lose everything is I just do a slip knot, or kind of a slip stitch, to tighten it down, and then I can put my work down and my magic adjustable loop won't come undone. So I'm going to do 8 single crochets. So first I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do 8 single crochets inside my magic adjustable loop. So I'll do those real fast. If you don't know how to do the magic adjustable loop, you can go ahead and check out the tutorial that I have. If you want kind of a really closed hole for this project, so I wouldn't recommend chaining and working into a ring that you form with chains. The magic adjustable loop's kind of the best way to go for this project. Let me see how many I have so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Then I'm just going to pull on my tail to close my circle. And I'm going to be working in spirals. I'm not going to join my round. So this round is complete. What you can do is you can get either a stitch marker or just an extra piece of yarn. So let me show you how I use an extra piece of yarn. Let me just cut a little length of my clementine. So I'm going to use this as a way to keep track of how many rounds I've done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay it right in between my project. Grab my tail I'm going to be using, just lay that down, and then I'm going to start my next round. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets in every stitch around so that I can get up to 16 stitches. So I had 8 stitches before, and now I'm going to do 2 in every round around to make 16. And you'll see that that just gets stuck there, but I can pull it out on my next round, and it tells me that there's my first stitch of the round. So I did 4 so far, so you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's right there on that 4th stitch. So let me keep on going, and we'll meet up on round 3. Okay, I finished my round. You can see I have quite a few color changes already, and I'm going to pull out my little round marker and place it in the same spot for my next round. So round 3 is telling me that I'm going to increase or single crochet twice in every other stitch. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets in this very first stitch, and that secured my round placer, my round marker. I've got 2 in that first stitch, and then I'm going to single crochet just once in the next stitch. And what this is doing is kind of forming a flat disc for the bottom of my egg, because we're working from bottom to top, and it's giving me nice even increases all the way around. So I do 2 and then 1, 2 and 1 all the way around. If your magic adjustable loop comes open as you're working, don't worry about it. You'll be able to pull it closed and weave it in when you're done. Just going to pull it the right way to close it down. But we're going to keep on going 2 and 1 all the way around this round, and then we'll meet up on round 4. Okay, I've got my last 3 stitches to do for round 3. Now if you put this down and you're not sure where you left off, this is what your round marker is there for. You can see that it's right below that stitch there. That's that very first stitch of round 3. So if you put your work down, you can count backwards, or you can start at that stitch that you have your marker and count forward so you can see how many stitches you have, what stitch pattern you're doing, and you can count from the center out to see what round you're on. So you have 1 round here, 2 rounds here, and then you're on your 3rd round. Even though you're working in spirals, you can still count how many rounds you're doing. So now round 4, again I'm going to pull this out so I can keep track. I'll lay it right in between my stitch. This is a simple round. We're just going to single crochet in every stitch around. So I'm going to do, I have 24 stitches right now, I'm going to keep it at 24. And this is going to cause my egg to start to curl up. When you don't add any stitches, your project will start rolling up. It's not going to look very much cupped up after this round. It usually takes a couple rounds for it to really start to curl, so don't be alarmed if it still looks pretty flat by the time you finish this round. Just keep on single crocheting in every stitch around, and we'll meet up at the end. Okay, so I finished round 5, and you can see that it's still pretty flat. It doesn't really curl up even though I did just a 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Now we're going to join our legs. So I told you no sewing. Let me grab my legs over here. All you're simply going to do, and remember as you work that you're going to cup inwards, this is going to be like a bowl. The part that you're working around, this is your outside. So you need to put the legs on the outside. Don't attach your legs on the inside where all your tails are, because your feet are going to be inside your egg instead of on the outside. So kind of look where your tails are and join your legs on the opposite side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick my hook through one of my holes and grab one of my tails from a leg. So notice it's between round 1 and round 2 that I'm pulling this through. Then I'm going to stick my hook between round 2 and round 3 right next to it and grab the other leg. So make sure that you have at least one stitch in between each tail. So I have both tails on this side, I have my foot on the other side. Now I'm just going to double knot it, or square knot as it's probably more correctly called. So just one knot and then a second knot. Now I have a leg that required no sewing. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other leg right on the opposite side. So find the stitch that's right across from your other leg and pull it through. If you want to get really technical and match up which side is which, you can. Totally up to you. Pull that first one through, and then it doesn't really matter like which way, because the egg is all the same on all sides. You don't have to put the legs, on a certain angle of the project. Just make sure that you're putting them in the right spot across from each other when you tie them off. So I've got this one on the opposite side in the same area. Now I'm going to double knot that. Don't get your round marker confused if you're using one in the same color as your feet. Make sure you're knotting the correct stuff. Getting that stuck in there again. You can cut these tails a lot shorter too after you knot them, so they're out of your way. Or you can just leave them because they're going to be all inside. You don't have to weave in anything. They're all just going to sit inside your egg as you work. So it's up to you if you want to cut them shorter or leave them be. But we are going to start on our next round, and our instructions tell us, that we are going to repeat round 4, and we're going to just single crochet in every stitch around again. So let me pull out my round marker and place it in the new spot. And we're going to do this for the next 2 rounds. So 2 rounds, round 5 and round 6 are just going to be 24 stitches around. So I have single crochet in every stitch around. So I'm going to go ahead and do both those rounds, and then we'll meet up on the next tutorial. We'll finish off our egg, so you can click on the link if you want to head over there right now, or you can finish those 2 rounds and meet up with us on round 7.